Welcome back to part 3, everyone, of this lesson on Scorching Summer. It's time for our knowledge check. This time we're doing a synonym match. So over here on the left, I've got all of the target vocabulary words from the article. And again, if you haven't seen part 1 where we read the article out loud, please go back and watch that so you can see these words in context. So we have them in the same order as they appear in the article, and over here we have a word or phrase that means somewhat the same, or that could be substituted in a sentence. Maybe not perfectly, but yeah, okay, fairly well. Well enough. So we're going to match these now. Keep this. Maybe you want to write these down on a piece of paper or take a screenshot after we finish going through these, because next slide we'll see some sentences where these synonyms are used, and you have to remember which target word matches. Now, these sentences that you're going to see are totally unrelated to weather phenomenon. Okay, I purposely made them just random. I think maybe one is related to weather, but most of them, I think the one about cloud seeding, but most of them are totally, these synonyms are going to be used in a totally different context. So be prepared for that. Okay, let's go one by one and match them, and I'll just write the letter here, the matching letter, okay, next to the word. I think it'll be easier than drawing lines, because it can get confusing with all the lines being drawn. Okay, so let's get my writing tool, handy dandy writing tool, ready. Good. And we're going to make it red and bold. All right, ready. So number 1, heat wave. All right, so let's take a look. Which of these words over here have to mean the same thing as a heat wave? Now, you remember from part 2, a heat wave is an extended period of hot weather. Okay, so the only matching word would be, yes, F. Okay, so we'll just cross the F off here, and then we'll write it over here. Okay, let's get our pen. There we go. All right, next word, go down in, it's a phrase rather, go down in history. So that it remembers, you remember that it means to be memorable. Okay, so something that's memorable is, right, not forgotten. All right, so let's put our H here. And we'll move that up. Our next word, number 3, is caught off guard. Remember, unprepared for something that's surprising. There we go. So we'll cross off B, unprepared. And we'll mark it over here. Number 4, unprecedented. Remember, it means something that's never been done or known before. So maybe one of a kind. So the only matching word would be unique. Let's type our K here next to it. Okay. And number 5 is brutal, right? Cruel, harsh. Right. There we have it. Letter I, cruel or painful, can also mean painful. Let's type it next to number 5, I, cruel or painful. Number 6 is pales. Remember, in comparison to something, something diminishes in value, usually. So that matches G, diminishes. And we'll type that here. Number 7, exponentially, can be either a rapid rise or a rapid decrease. Right, we found that out in the sentences for part 2. So we've got rapidly, exponentially, rapidly would be a synonym for that. And so we'll type RC here. Number 8, on record, to officially state something or document something. Yes, and so you can see this word, document. Something is documented, it's on record. Well, let's get our letter over here next to number 8. Number 9 is resort to. Remember, that's kind of a last resort, something that you do if you don't have any other alternative. So a good synonym for that is this phrasal verb down here, to fall back on, is a synonym for resort to. So that's L, and we'll type that here next to number 9. Cloud seeding, remember, a kind of chemical substance that scientists, farmers put into the clouds to make it rain, to release the rain in the clouds. Yeah, so that's the only one that matches. E, rain making. And 11, a freak, something unusual, abnormal, or in this case, odd. Yes. Okay, let's type our letter A next to number 11. And the last word on the list, harbinger. That's a sign of things to come. Can be good, can be bad. All right, and the only one left is omen. An omen is a sign, and omens are always usually bad things. An evil omen. Okay, those two words often collocate in English. So we'll put our D next to harbinger. Okay, so again, take a screenshot of this before we move on to the next slide, so you can keep in mind what the synonyms are, and then what the target vocabulary words are, the matching target vocabulary words. Take your screenshot, and we're going to move on. Here are the sentences, and I've highlighted the synonyms within each sentence, so it'll be easier for you to locate them. So underneath each of these sentences is the target word. So we're going to read, let's practice again reading out loud. Read along with me, adjusting the speed as necessary. So we'll read each sentence. I'll give you maybe a moment to think, and then I'll reveal the target word. So let's start. Here we're going to be going back and forth from top to bottom like a zigzag. Okay, starting up here. I didn't number these sentences, so yeah, just keep in mind we're going back and forth, back and forth. All right, first sentence. Some people think seeing a magpie first thing in the morning is an omen of bad luck. Now, you remember what omen is? Yes, harbinger. In this case, it's, oh, sorry about that. Pause. All right, let's go on to our next sentence. These new high heels are so painful. I can hardly walk. All right, do you remember the target word for painful, the matching target word? Yes, brutal. High heels are brutal. They can be, especially if they're new. All right, next sentence. That strange old recluse was considered quite odd. A recluse is somebody who likes to stay by themselves a lot, kind of shut up in their house, just away from people. So he was odd. That strange old recluse was odd. So you remember what odd matches? A freak, right? He was a freak. All right, our next sentence. The villagers prayed the hot spell would soon end. Now, this is an instance where you don't need a relative pronoun there. The villagers prayed that. You could put it in, and you could also leave it out. So it's not mandatory here for the grammar. All right, so what word means hot spell? Let's see. Yes, heat wave. All right, on to our next sentence. The mayor wanted his promise not to raise taxes documented, right? Sealed in blood. Okay. He wanted it officially proclaimed. Maybe he wanted it on record for the next voting cycle. All right, let's go to our next sentence. I hope all my life accomplishments will never be forgotten. So something that's never forgotten, do you remember? Right, will go down in history. And on to our next sentence. Don't be unprepared when you travel overseas. Keep your ID and cell phone safe. Okay, so don't be unprepared. The word for that is, yes, caught off guard. It's a phrase. Sorry, the phrase for that is caught off guard. Next sentence. The actress's beauty diminished in comparison to the breathtaking scenery. All right, so she's on a movie set, beautiful actress, but boy, her beauty is nothing compared to the beauty of the landscape. What word goes there? What's diminished? Right? Paled. Okay, and you can remember, you can change the tense of this. You can say something pales in comparison to something else. It paled in the past tense compared to something else. All right. Well, let's go to our next sentence. If the stores run out of toilet paper again, we'll have to fall back on pages from our old encyclopedia set. Ooh, that's a terrible thought. Okay, if there's another pandemic and there's a rush on toilet paper in the stores, okay, you might have to resort to, yes, something. That's our target word. Resort to using pages of an encyclopedia. Or something worse, hopefully not. Okay, our next sentence. Michelle's heartbeat increased rapidly whenever she saw the love of her life. Right? Okay, that means her heartbeat increased quickly, right? Steadily, exponentially. Exactly. Okay, next to the last. Rainmaking has become an annual ritual in many drought-stricken countries. And we know that rainmaking goes with cloud seeding. Last but not least, breeding this rare species of flying lizards in captivity is utterly unique. Never been done before. It's unprecedented. And there we have all of our target words. Well done. Okay, I hope this was, I hope it was fun, challenging, interesting. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know too if there's another kind of activity, a knowledge check that you'd like to see. Stick around for my next video. I know I say stick around a lot. I mean, just stay tuned, okay? I'm working at this moment on my next video, so please join me for that. So, how did you do on the synonym match? Was it challenging enough? I hope. Not too challenging? Okay. Well, sometimes we need a challenge. Yeah, to help us to grow. All right. I hope this vocabulary that we worked on this lesson, I know there was a lot. There were a few more than I usually do. There was just so much. I had to edit out this article I wrote because I had 20 vocabulary words, expressions, to start with. So 12 out of 20 is what that's the bare minimum I could pare it down to. So be thankful. All right, let me encourage you now, before you leave this lesson, to write me a sentence using one of the target vocabulary words that we looked at in our article on Scorching Summer. Type your sentence in the comments below and I will definitely respond to you. I will give you some feedback and correction. Be brave. The only way that you can overcome an obstacle to writing or acquiring vocabulary, memorizing, is by using the language. So writing a sentence is using the language. Okay, I want to encourage you to do that and let you know I'm working on the next lesson. And I'm also trying to incorporate kind of a spin-off series called A Sentence a Day, where I'm taking these topics of these lessons and giving you just a sentence each day related to the topic that you can, use. Memorize, hopefully, memorize the sentence, look at the sentence pattern. This is just conversational English. Okay, we're not focusing on vocabulary in particular. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming soon, a sentence a day. And I hope to see you again in my next lesson. Stick around for more fun and excitement and education or edutainment. Take care in the meantime and keep practicing your English every day. Bye-bye for now.